Good afternoon, good afternoon. I am coming at y'all with an update on the David case. Um, I hope you there will all enjoy. With that being said, let's get into it. And shout out to True Crime with Strategic Eyes.
Welcome to True Crime with Strategic Eyes. Strategic back again. First of all, it's great to be back, ladies and gentlemen. My voice is still toast. I feel great. I'm not sick anymore, but I lost my voice in the process of being sick. And so it's been a while since I've been able to speak.
Oh, let
Now, you
me
guys know I've
put
been
this on
busy
mute.
working like crazy
Mute,
on the day
mute.
job, so I haven't had time to actually do a video. But we're here now, man. Today was my first day off in quite a while, and you know I had to share it with you guys, and I had to use what little voice I had left to actually share that little voice with you, ladies and gentlemen. Yes. So for whatever reason, I updated the software that I use to do the show. It's called OBS, and it killed all of my settings, ladies and gentlemen. So I gotta like transition manually on this, man. Like we're back to like 1998, but we gonna get through it. Yeah. All right. So once again, for the last time, for those of you just popping in, my voice is hoarse. I'm getting it back slowly, but it's not where it needs to be. So the best way for me to talk is like this. I gotta talk in a low voice. When I talk on my lower range, I can talk much more clearly. But this is not how I like to talk. I like to talk in my higher range, and my higher range is not there yet. So we're gonna sound a little subdued for this live. But even though we're gonna sound subdued, the energy is still there. And we got a job to do, right? So guys, before we get started, please hit that like button, support the channel. Make sure you hit that like button. We haven't done a show in quite a while. It's been over a week since we've done a show. We're so close to 100,000 subscribers. Yes, I said it. We're so close to 100,000 subscribers. We have less than 2,000. I think we got like 1,500 to go. 1,500 subscribers to go to get to 100,000 subscribers. So please do support the channel and make sure that you hit that like button so we can get into the algorithm. Now, one more thing before we get started. Here's another stink bug. Oh my God, these stink bugs are everywhere. One more thing before we start this. I gotta tell you guys my bias. I'm starting to believe, in my opinion, that this guy D4VD is a pedophile, all right? Listen.
Does that make sense?
I'm sorry, okay? I don't know if he killed this girl.
Does that make sense?
I have no idea if he took this beautiful young woman's life, Celeste. I don't know.
Does that make sense?
But it looks like he was a pedophile,
Does that make
okay?
sense?
All right, so I'm going to be biased because you guys know
Hello,
I don't like
welcome.
Does that make sense?
pedophiles, all right? But it looks like D4VD is a great Jamaican pedophile, all right? So it is what it is. So we're gonna get through it because we got a lot of information to share with you guys today. The research group did an amazing job compiling all this stuff. We're gonna get through it slowly but surely. It's probably gonna end up being like an hour and a half show. I hope my voice can last that long, but I don't know. We're gonna get there when we get there, however we get there, in whatever shape we get there. So we starting out with this one first, right? When I first started talking about this D4VD thing, I told you guys that I heard about it. And I asked myself,
Just call him
man,
David.
they said he's on tour. I don't know how much
I
of
mean,
a
hell,
story
that's
this
what I call him. I
is.
just call him
Steal
David.
people's cars all the time. I didn't know nothing about the connection between him dating a girl and her running away and all that good stuff. I didn't know about all that stuff. All I knew was here's a megastar, not a megastar, but an up and coming star.
Yeah, up and coming star.
Up and coming star who is on tour and they find his car. And what I heard was that it was stolen. I heard it was reported stolen. And that's one of the things that made me decide not to cover the story. I was wrong because this car was never reported stolen, ladies and gentlemen.
It never
Let's say
was.
that one more time to the people in the
His
back
car was
row.
Does
never
that make
reported
sense?
This
stolen.
car was never reported stolen. Oh my God! It was never reported stolen. So, SF investigates out in California. We've used his stuff before. He's on top of these things, you know. He's getting good information, and we appreciate that. He's putting it out there on Twitter for everybody. So he said, I obtained photos of D4VD's 2023 Tesla Model X when it was towed and impounded. I also received a copy of the August 26, 2025 complaint reporting it as abandoned, along with the vehicle impound report. Now, as we read this, we're going to see that a lot of people didn't do their job. They didn't do their job. Because if they did their job, we would have found this little girl's body a whole lot sooner. But let's keep going. The caller only noted a large dent in the rear, no mention of odor. The tow report states nothing of value was seen inside, because maybe her body wasn't smelling at that time. The photos suggest the car had been left in the same spot for an extended period. The initial complaint was called in on August 26th. Then an officer first inspected and cited the car on August 27th. The ticketed again on September 3rd, and then towed and impounded on September 5th. They gave a lot of time for this car to be moved.
They did.
Also notes that there was no warrants on the vehicle, meaning no, that's California talk for no reports of it being stolen. There was no warrants on the vehicle, meaning it was not reported stolen at the time.
And this car had Texas tag.
Another thing that was said is that the car was searched and nothing of value was found in the car. Now, this is a picture, some of the pictures that were taken of the vehicle. You got some fender issues here. Looks like some trim is missing off of the fender. You got this big dent on the back. Nothing about the dent on the side. Remember, the car had a dent on
And
the side.
again, this is True Crime with Strategic Eyes.
To get my hands on this thing. This is the weighted Highland cow and
The dent on the side, remember?
And again, ladies and gentlemen, this is True Crime with Strategic Eyes, who we're listening to at this time. Go ahead and check them out.
The car had a dent on the side. And this is the actual report. All credit goes to SF Investigates. We're using their Twitter post for this information. All right, now, I gotta tell you something else before we read this article by the Daily Mail. And I really don't want to read because my voice is killing me. But I gotta read because how else are you guys supposed to get this information? I gotta tell you another bias of mine. And let me know if the sound is good because I'm peaking. I raised it in the members only live we did earlier, and it's peaking in red a lot. And so I hope that it's not clipping or anything like this. Let me bring it down. I gotta tell you another one of my biases. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I think the family knew. I told you guys this before. I told you guys this before. I said the family knew that she was dating the older guy, and some of these cultures, and some of you got mad at me. Some of you got mad at me because you don't like when
It's
people
not
talk
just
about
culture,
cultures.
brothers.
You don't like when people talk about people.
Basically, what this guy is going to go all around the world to say is basically this young girl was basically in the same situation that Aaliyah was in. As you all know, Aaliyah was basically pimped out to R. Kelly by her family. And unfortunately, this young lady here was in the same situation. It's sad, but unfortunately, it is true. This young lady situation matches that of Aaliyah when she was with R. Kelly. Let's get back into this.
But I told you when you come on this channel, we aren't woke, we aren't conservative, we are fact finders, we're detectives on this channel. We don't care about your feelings. If you tell me that African Americans have a higher rate of murder than any other race in America, I'm not gonna get butthurt. I'm gonna say that's a fact. I'm saying it's a fact. If you said all black people are murderers and killers, I'm gonna say, well, you are ignorant, and that's a racist statement because it's not true. All black people aren't murderers. But if you tell me that the statistics show that black people kill more than any other race in this country, I have to say yes.
I gotta go
That's true.
give me some
Because
water.
they're facts.
I'll be
Like
right
somebody
back,
said in the
y'all.
chat, leave your feelings behind. I'm gonna add to that. Leave your feelings at the door. And I told you guys from my anecdotal experience dealing with people, there are some cultures, that doesn't mean everybody in the culture, but there are some cultures, some South American cultures, mind you, that's not all Latino people. Every South American country is its own country, has different customs. But there are some
Exactly.
cultures in South America
Okay,
that
I'm
has
back.
no problem with girls messing with older guys so long as they're successful. So long as they're successful and they're
That's
taking
not just
care of
land
those
culture.
girls.
Other
And this
cultures
article
too.
is going to prove my point. I don't say these things because I want to hurt people's feelings. I say these things because I want to protect the children. I'm saying these things because I want change. I want us to identify these problems and change them and tackle them and conquer them and make them better. And we can't fix things if we don't confront it. So once again, if you tell me African Americans have a higher rate of homicide than any other race in America, I'm saying, yeah, you're right. That is a fact. Now, what can we do to change it? What are some of the things that cause that? Low education.
Which what he just said is true. A harsh truth, but a truth nonetheless. Let's continue.
Educational outcomes, poverty, drugs, gang culture, hip hop. These are some of the things that cause this high murder rate. What can we do to change it? I'm about solutions, not about feelings. Nothing but feelings. No, I'm about solutions. And the only way you get to solutions is through truth. So let's read this article, because this article is going to prove my point. The family knew exactly where she was at, in my opinion. They knew exactly where she was at. They knew exactly who she was with. Now, I don't know if they knew her exact address. I'm not going to say that. But they knew who she was with. Let's read this article. The mother of embattled singer, let me bring my voice down because I don't have no voice. I'm going crazy and I'm losing my voice already. The mother of embattled singer D4VD, I wish I had something that could read this for me, has been spotted shopping at a Texas pawn and gun store. So the mother is at a gun store getting guns. I'm gonna have to paraphrase this because I can't read through this whole thing. Mother is at a gun store getting guns. Carlene Robert Burke, that's the mother of D4VD, was seen in images exclusive to him by the Daily Mail leaving a town ball pawn and jewelry near Houston on Thursday afternoon, clutching an instruction manual for an AR-15 semi-automatic rifle. She want to go to war. Why is mommy going to war? Why are you going to war for, mommy? Wearing black tracksuit bottoms and a gray t-shirt with the words "Send nudes," embezzled across the chest. You can't put something more appropriate on? That's crazy. Down the rabbit holes in the building, what's happening with the $10 soup shares? I spoke about this. She said, I spoke about this very same issue. Yes, there are cultures out there that allow young girls to marry young and date, although it's not okay, but it's just how some cultures are. I lived it. There you go. There you go. A trusted content creator who is of Latino descent, who's saying the same thing I said, and guess what? I'm part Dominican. So it's not even like I'm not talking about people that are part of a culture I'm from too.
Let's get fiscal. Lesson 2, credit card combat. Getting your finances together? Learn to master your...
And guess what? I'm part Dominican. So it's not even like I'm not talking about people that are part of a culture I'm from too. There you go. Like I said, we leave our feelings at the door. We're all detectives when you come here. I have knighted you. Sworn you in when you come through these internet doors to hang out with True Crime and Strategic. We put our feelings on the door. Facts are facts. There's a rabbit saying that she lived it. Facts are facts. All right, let's keep going. Thank you so much for that, rabbit lady. I like calling her the rabbit lady. Go check her channel out, Down the Rabbit Hole. Down the Rabbit Hole News, aka Rabbit Lady. Go check her out, man. She's awesome. Let's keep going. Wearing a black tracksuit, I already read that. In another shot taken moments later, Burke was seen outside the shop, pacing with a cell phone pressed to her ear as she leaned against a stone pillar, her expression tense, with a hand placed on her hips. Because your son is going to jail. Because whether he killed that girl or not, he's a pedophile. He was messing with that girl when she was 11. Now, that's an afterthought in this article, but it's going to be telling. They want to talk about the mommy at the gun store, but wait till we read further down on this article. And we're going to see how nasty this man is and how this family knew. Let's keep going. Exclusive images mark the first sign of D4David's mother since her son became the focus of a murder probe in Los Angeles following September 8th discovery of missing teen Celeste Rivas Hernandez. Let's keep going. That's her right there. You raised a monster. You homeschooled him, isolated his ass, and he turned into a monster. He's got this alter ego we're going to talk about later on in the show, where the name of his alter ego in Japanese is Pain. He likes that. I wonder what he was doing to that little girl. I wonder what he was doing to that little girl. Remember when we saw that video where she told him that he rapes little kids? Isn't that crazy? She told him that. He is having intercourse with that girl. And she is his lover / girlfriend / committing felonies whenever they're with each other. And she's telling him that's supposed to be his girlfriend. And she's telling him, yeah, you rape little girls. That was her subconscious talking. Because even though she may have thought she liked this guy, she knew it was wrong. She was enamored by his fame, enamored by his talent, enamored by him being an adult, enamored by his money.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Her subconscious, she knew it was wrong. That's why on that Discord live stream, she said you rape little kids. Kids don't know how to lie that good. They speak what they feel. That's why their brains aren't developed yet, because they speak how they feel. Let's keep going. Rivas was 13 when she was reported missing from her home in Lake Elsinore, California, May of 2024. That's a poor area. There's this guy who's rich. At least he's getting there. He's getting money. He may not be rich yet, but he's on the road to being rich. At least he was. And he's plucking this little girl out of this impoverished area. Her parents knew. He said nothing. Let's keep going. When she was reported missing from her home in Lake Elsinore, California, in May of 2024. Sources close to the girl have alleged to the Daily Mail that she was in an illicit relation with D.
Ah, dang it. Hold on, y'all. So sorry about that. Here we go.
In May of 2024, sources close to the girl have alleged to the Daily Mail that she was in an illicit relation with D4VD, real name David Anthony Burke, aka Chester the Molester, after making contact with the star over social media when she was just 11 or 12 years old. Oh, Lord of mercy. Oh, my God. 11 or 12 years old. Let's keep going, because a brother about to start talking. He has not been charged with any crime in relation to her death. We got to say that he's innocent until proven guilty. He's not been charged. Rivas' brother, Matthew Rivas, said his family was aware of the alleged relationship.
Mm-hmm.
You heard it? Oh, my God. His family was aware of the alleged relationship.
I'm not surprised.
Her family also told TMZ she's been dating someone called David before she disappeared. You hear that? Little girl got tattoos on her fingers, all of that stuff. Amy P, 6 months membership. She had tattooed on her finger, has its own meaning. Yup, let's keep going. She got tattoos on her body, disappearing. She's a preteen. She's not even a teenager. Where was this parents? Where was this family to protect her? I'm not going to give them a pass. We don't give passes on this show. We don't give passes. This is not a news show. This is an opinion show. And I'm telling you my opinion. And my opinion is that these people knew. They knew. And they delivered the lamb to the lion's den. Because if they'd have called the cops, I don't want to hear that crap. They talking about, oh, we tried to call the cops and say she was missing. Nobody was listening.
Bullshit.
They'd have told the police that this man who was in his 20s was raping their little girl. That man would be in jail right now. She'd be alive getting therapy. They didn't say nothing.
That's
Most
come
men don't know
from what
that
I'm hearing. The
vitamin
parents
D
didn't care.
medication, it has 2 essential ingredients, and if you're taking
Be alive getting therapy. They didn't say nothing. Because remember, before she went missing and passed away and was taken from us, because remember, on this channel, your children belong to you when you treat them good. But when you treat them bad, they belong to all of us. They are part of the collective human race. They are the future of this human race. That little girl belonged to me, belonged to you, belonged to all of us. She was all of our daughter. When they found that girl the first time, who did they find her with? The police took her from D4VD. Why didn't they arrest him then? Why didn't the parents demand that charges was pressed on this man who had their 12-year-old daughter, 11 or 12-year-old daughter? Remember, she was taken away from D4VD before she went missing the second time. They had an opportunity. What did they do with that opportunity? It's a question I want to know. Let's keep going. Rivas' brother, Matthew Rivas, said his family was aware of the alleged relationship. Her family also told DMZ she's been dating someone called David before she disappeared. Matthew said that on the day his sister vanished, she left home to see a movie with D4VD and never came back. They knew she was going to see a movie with this man. They knew she was going to see a movie with this man. You want to know how I know? Because at least Matthew knew. Now, I have little sisters who are grown. Let one of my little sisters tell me that they 11 years old, they about to sneak out the house to go hang out with a D4VD who's 20 years old. You think I'm not telling mommy? You think I'm not going to go with her and beat the crap out of that dude? Where you was at, Matthew? Where you was at? When you let your sister walk out the house to go spend time with a grown man. They knew. These people nasty. They nasty. Let's keep going. Both Burke and her 20-year-old son have been radio silent since investigators identified Rivas' remains. The artist has not been seen in weeks. Neither has returned the mail's multiple requests for comment. Social media has been awash with images purporting to show D4VD and Rivas together during the time the girl was reported missing. The family wants us to believe. Let me bring my voice down. I'm doing too much. I'm doing too much. I'm doing too much. The family wants us to believe. Gotta keep my voice down because I'm losing my voice. The family wants us to believe that everybody, maybe you guys like my voice like this. It's like a radio voice. Yeah. The family wants us to believe that all of her friends, all of the kids she went to school with, was following her on Discord with lives where this dude and her is a couple on doing Discord live streams together. Discord live streams together. That's what the family wants us to believe. But they don't know that she's with him. The whole school is talking about her dating D4VD. The whole school knows that she's run away with him, fake eloped with him, somewhere in California. But the family don't know. That's what they want us to believe. I don't believe it. I don't believe it.
I don't either.
I don't believe it. Let's keep going. Social media has been awash with images. Keep going. In previous interviews, D4VD has spoken of how his mother was instrumental in kickstarting his music career, and there's a little history of him. All right. Let's go over to the next one. So that's that's the brother of the victim of Celeste saying that the family knew that she was dating David. The family knew that. And the last time he saw her
Unfortunately,
is
that
when
family knew.
she left the house. The way he said it, he didn't say run away. He didn't say run away. He said she left the house to go see a movie with David. That was the last time he saw her. Somebody said it in the chat. This little girl was their golden ticket.
Yeah.
That's how they're looking at it. They were looking at her as their ticket out of poverty.
The same way that Jocelyn Savage was basically handed over to R. Kelly, and the two other women, and even Aaliyah, Jocelyn Savage. I can't think of the names of the two other ladies, but has you look at this case and look at what happened with R. Kelly and what happened there. This case is given. It gives R. Kelly. I'm sorry. There's no other way for me to say it. Let's get back into this.
You go ahead and you date that rich superstar man, and hopefully he'll marry you. He put a baby in you, and we set for life. That's what that family was thinking, in my opinion. Just my opinion, but that's what I'm thinking. Let's keep going.
Now to some new developments in a story that we've been following for more than 2 weeks now. A teenage girl found decomposed in the Tesla belonging to singer David. Well, today, News Chapter 4 captured a moving truck parked outside of the home where the singer lived. NBC4's Macy is live in the Hollywood Hills with details about the activity here today. Macy.
These boots are made from a single piece of premium American leather tanned in Pennsylvania. They're built to last.
Where the singer lived. NBC4's Macy Jenkins live in the Hollywood Hills with details about the activity here today. Macy.
Hi, Michael. Well, the movers left the area around 12:45. What's interesting is the truck they brought seemed large enough to fit the contents of a 5-bedroom house. But by the time they packed up and left, it appeared that that truck was only about a third full. As far as the investigation into the teen girl's death, LAPD says they're still waiting on a cause of death. But as of right now, there is no one that has been charged with any crime. News Chopper 4 was overhead Thursday afternoon as movers lugged several boxes out of the Hollywood Hills home of alternative pop and R&B singer David. The home is just around the corner from Bluebird Avenue, where LAPD investigators say a Tesla registered to the musician had been parked for at least a month before it was towed. On September 8th, workers at the tow yard discovered the dismembered body of 15-year-old Celeste Rivas inside of the Tesla's trunk after they noticed a strong odor coming from the car. Her family writing on a GoFundMe page. As many of you know, Celeste Rivas Hernandez has been identified as the body found last week. She was a beloved daughter, sister, cousin, and friend.
Yeah, give us the money, because we couldn't get that money in life. It didn't work out the way we thought it was going to work out. Will you please send us this GoFundMe money? We need that money. Give us the money. These people did not fight for their daughter when she was alive. They knew where she was at. They did not care. Let's keep going.
Her family is heartbroken and devastated by this tragic loss. Rivas was just 13 years old when her family reported her missing in April of last year.
Think about that. Your 13-year-old is missing. There's no mountain I would not climb to find my baby.
Facts.
I would go to the D4VD concert and make sure that I find him. I would end this man. No disrespect. You'll take that. I'm not saying that. I'm not making any type of threats, but I'm telling you, as a father, what I do for a living does not matter. The most important thing to me on this planet is my children. If this man took my kid, I got a 13-year-old in this house, he would not be alive. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care what anybody says. Yeah, I said it. True Crime Strategic said it. He would not be alive. There's no way on this green earth that my daughter is gone and we just living. And we make one police report and that's it. We made one police report. And you know who she with. know who she with. Nah, man.
Exactly.
Nah. They living in a house. I'll mortgage my house to get a private eye so I know where he lives. And that's all I need. I just need to know where he lives. I will pay that private eye the whole value of the house, whatever their house costs, whether it's $20,000 or $200,000 or $2 million. I give the whole money to the private eye. Just give me his address, and I take care of the rest. This girl was missing, and their life was moving on. Do you guys feel? Sometimes you gotta trust your instincts. As a detective, I use my instincts every day. Do you guys feel like these people were looking for this girl? All the evidence we've seen, all the information that's come out on this case, do you feel like this family was looking for this girl? Do you guys feel that they could not know where she was at? Everybody else knew where she was at. Everybody else knew where to find the Discord, to find her doing live streams, calling her boyfriend a child rapist. Everybody else knew where to find that. Why couldn't that family find her? This is a celebrity. Why didn't they go to TMZ before and say, yo, listen, TMZ, you know this guy has my daughter? He is harboring an underage teenage girl. You didn't call up the Grammys and tell them that? You ain't call Rock Nation up or whoever she went to tell them that? All of a sudden, we finally hear about this family after she gone. Nah, bro. And if I couldn't find D4VD, I know where to find his mama. I know where to find this lady. You gonna bring my baby back one way or another. Because it's war. When you take somebody's child, it's war. And there's no rules in war. But they don't got that kind of energy now, do they? Oh, well, who am I to judge? They can deal with it their own way, right? Let me put on my trauma hat on. You know what? People deal with trauma differently. Who am I to judge this family? Who am I to judge them? Okay, let's keep going.
Her mother said the singer, who was 18 at the time, was her daughter's boyfriend. And according to the girl's brother, Celeste was on her way to see a movie with David the last time they saw her. David's
Play that back one more time. What did you say, Noobs? NBCLA?
who was 18 at the time, was her daughter's boyfriend. And according to the girl's brother, Celeste was on her way to see a movie with David the last time they saw her. David's representatives told NBC4 earlier this month that the singer was aware of what has happened and is cooperating with authorities.
Yeah.
We reached out again today.
While your daughter missing, he making music videos about killing his girlfriend. He making bloody crime scene, Saw-style music videos about killing his girlfriend.
Weird.
To both his publicist
Weird and
management team,
disturbing,
but have not heard back. According
to
various
say the
reports,
least.
His label, Interscope Records, has halted all promotion for his latest album, and several shows were canceled, including one scheduled for last Saturday night at the Greek Theater. A funeral for Rivas is set to take place on October 4th. Now, Rivas would have turned 15 years old on September 7th, the day before her dismembered remains were found inside of that Tesla. Reporting live in the Hollywood Hills, Macy Jenkins.
All right, let's keep going, man. This is crazy. This is the house that they were staying in. $19,000 a month to rent this house. $19,000 a month to rent that house. $1,000 deposit you got to put down. It's crazy. All right, let's keep going. Wow, big shout out to the research crew. Let's keep going.
The body of 15-year-old Celeste Rivas Hernandez has been returned to her family more than 2 weeks after she was found dead in the trunk of a car registered to singer David. Police have
All right,
searched
hold on. Before we go into this, I gotta show some love. I'm so animated. I'm not even showing love to people who are showing love with the super chats. So, Nina Drew gave us a 99-cent super chat. We appreciate you, Nina. And Sorceress gave us a $5 super chat. It's a strategic sound like a late-night radio host playing those baby-making throwbacks. Let's hope no one gets pregnant during this live. Oh, you so naughty. Lord of mercy. I think I got the naughtiest chat on the planet. You guys are bad. Just keep going.
Hollywood Hills home linked to David. And tonight, questions remain about how this teen died. TMZ's Harvey Levin joins us now with the latest. Always good to have you, Harvey. This is such a mystery in that, as far as we know, and correct me if I'm wrong, the coroner released Celeste's body. So does this mean that they have determined how she died?
That doesn't necessarily mean that, Marla. What it means is they've done the testing they need to do to determine that. For example, and I don't know that this...
And mind y'all, not only was she in a vehicle, she was in a vehicle where she was dismembered and decomposing. I I know it's not a positive picture, but unfortunately, what happened to this young woman.
It's the case here, and maybe it's not because of how decomposed the body was, that if they do...
First of all, I'm hearing conflicting statements about the state of her body. I'm starting to think that she was not dismembered. There's no true evidence that she was dismembered at this time. So I'm not sure if that was
Hold on,
an
what
accurate
he
statement
talking about?
when it was said that her body was dismembered, because they were saying a lot of things about things on her body that didn't make sense. Like, oh, she had the tattoo on her finger, but it was reported that all they got was a torso and a head. So if you just got a torso and a head, how do you
I haven't heard that.
tattoos on her fingers and stuff like that? It wasn't making sense. So let's just keep it with a grain of salt as to what the state of her body is. All right. Big shout out to MM Clay. She says, if you need to cut this live short, do it. Your health comes first. Love you. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. I'm perfectly healthy. It's just my voice is lost, but I'm perfectly fine. I'm not in any way sick. I feel great. It's just when I was sick, I lost my voice, and it's in the process of coming back. And even though I could just talk like this, and then I can sound much more clearer, I get too animated. I can't even pretend like I won't start screaming, because I can't do this show without screaming, because none of this crap ever makes sense.
It
never
don't.
will ever make sense to me how
It's not
equal
supposed
human
to.
beings can be with each other, and I will never stop being appalled at the level of depravity that our fellow human beings can sink to. So I'll always scream. So I'm not even going to pretend like I'm not going to scream. So let's keep going.
A toxicology on a body, that can take several months to get the cause of death if it involves any kind of a substance. So they would release the body even if the cause of death is undetermined pending the results of toxicology. That's one example. But they could release the body as long as they've done all of the testing
I'll be right back, y'all.
that they could possibly do. And maybe they have made a determination. If they have not released it yet, and maybe they haven't. And remember, this body was in such bad shape that they didn't even know if it was a man or a woman, initially.
Oh my
I
God.
mean, it takes a while for the body to decompose to that point where you don't know it's a man or a woman. I mean, I've come on scenes, especially with elderly people, who pass away alone, and they'll melt into the floor, and you still can tell that it's a woman or a man there. So you have to have a real level of decomposition for them to not know whether it's a man or woman. Somebody asks, why is TMZ so invested in this? I would say, why not? They broke this. They broke this story. And it's right up their alley because it's an entertainer. And TMZ is a gossip channel. And this is an entertainer who might have done something horrendous, who's accused of, well, hasn't been charged yet, but we on the internet at least are accusing him of possibly committing a horrendous act against another human being. And since they broke this case, and they pretty much are the ones that spearheaded us finding out Celeste is the victim, I think they have every right to keep going with it, and I respect them for it. I don't respect everything that they do, but I certainly respect what they're doing with this case, because they've done some real messed up things recently that I felt was very distasteful, but we're not going to get into that. Let's keep going.
So horrific to think about. It was the stench from the car that alerted people what's going on inside that car, and sure enough, have you determined the exact relationship between David and Hernandez?
BD file. BT file. That is the relationship. BD
Yeah.
file.
Look, I mean,
Does that make sense?
there
was
is no
no
doubt
relationship.
that
What are
they
you
knew each
talking
other,
about?
they interacted with each other a lot. And, you know, if I can go back in time, that, you know, when the police came out and said that they identified a woman, a body in his car, all they really said was she had a tattoo on her right index finger that said SHHH. We got a tip that it was Celeste Rivas. We contacted Celeste's mom.
You know, somebody just made a good point. A really good point, Care Bear 731. And I didn't consider this, but I should have considered it. Like I told you, when I would go on scenes, do wellness checks on elderly people, and they would have passed away sometimes for weeks, I didn't consider what Care Bear said, which is that this body was in a trunk in the California sun
Yep.
for weeks. Absolutely, it would accelerate decomposition. Absolutely, it would
Facts.
accelerate decomposition. So,
And in case y'all didn't know, heat does speed up decomposition, like you said. Let's continue.
really good point, Care Bear 731. See, you're thinking with your detective brain. I like that. Let's keep going.
And her mom told us two things. That yes, Celeste had a tattoo, it was red on her right index finger. And two, she was dating a guy named David. So I called the LAPD homicide detective in charge of this and just said, look, we just got this tip. You're trying to find who the body is, you know, who it is. And we gave the detective the name and phone number of the mother, and then a couple of days later they said it was Celeste. So the word David surfaced, you know, before they even identified the body. Now I can't tell you that the David she was talking about is David the singer, but now when you look and you see the two of them, you know, on social media together, you see the two of them in photos together, you see he was in Lake Elsinore, very close to her family house. There definitely was some kind of a relationship. We just don't know.
There's not no relationship, bro. Why are you saying that?
And then there are reports that he
That was a grown man taking advantage of a child.
Well, we know that.
Call it for what it
It was
is.
done by a mutual decision after the search warrant.
I'm gonna be calmed down for a little bit cause I'm eating, but I'm here, y'all. I'm here.
That the owner of the house who lives out of state and the person from Interscope, who actually is on the
Wait a minute,
list.
Interscope. Wait a minute, ain't Interscope L.A. Reid? I just now thought about that. I think Interscope regular is just L.A. Reid. I'll check on that in a minute.
A mutual agreement to end the lease. It's interesting. I will tell you one thing, that they have security cameras at the house, and obviously there's something the police would love to get. The owner of the house doesn't have access to the security cameras because what happened is the owner allowed each of the tenants he was renting to have that access so it wouldn't look like the owner was spying on the tenant. So it's up to the tenant. We don't know if this particular tenant agreed or whether the LAPD is going to get a subpoena. But to quote Brendan Carr,
Get a subpoena. What we weighing on?
So this makes sense because this house is being rented to upscale people, stars, celebrities, whatever, and they value privacy. Would you really want to rent a house if you're a star or whatever? Just a high heel, anybody, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what your social economic situation is. Would you want to rent an apartment that has surveillance everywhere that you don't have access to? Now, it's one thing if you live in an apartment building in a city and the landlord has surveillance cameras outside to make sure that everybody is safe, nobody gets robbed or something. You learn to live with that. But would you want to live in an apartment or a house where there's cameras inside of your dwelling space and you know that the landlord has access to that? The answer is no,
No.
absolutely not. So it does make sense for him to say, listen, we have surveillance everywhere, but I'm not going to be able to control it. You're going to be the one who's going to control it if you want the surveillance to be turned on. That makes a lot of sense. I like that. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to skip ahead a little. Well, I'm going to skip ahead because we actually do have the Joseph Scott Morgan interview that was done with Ashley Banfield, and they're going to talk about the decomposition. Let's play just a few more minutes of this, a few more seconds of this, and then we're going to go on over to the next one, where we're going to hear about this decomposition. They're going to explain it to us.
They have to get a subpoena, they will.
Yeah, and now you got me thinking of Jimmy Kimmel. That's a whole different conversation when you bring up Brendan Carr. Let's talk more, though, about David and the fact that he's not in custody. He did cancel his tour. That's pretty new. Are you surprised that no one's in custody? How soon can we expect an arrest?
No idea. I no idea. And we don't even know there's a suspect. I mean, even if there is, listen, the police don't have to publicly announce there is a suspect. Remember Brian Koberger, they didn't announce it, but they knew it. So they didn't announce it, and we don't know that they have.
Y'all could at least lock him up for the PDF stuff. The least California could have did was lock him up for the PDF stuff.
One, I have rarely seen the LAPD play their cards as close to the vest as they are in this case.
And I'm going to tell you why they're doing it, ladies and gentlemen. A lot of people want justice now, and I get it. But I know how the system works. This person has access to resources. They have to cross all their T's and dot all their I's. They're taking their time to build a strong case because he has money. And I get that. And I'm not mad at them. Nobody was rushing to find Celeste. Now Celeste is gone. We're not rushing to justice. We're going to take our time. We're going to get all the evidence that we need so that if we do charge someone, whoever that may be, the charges stick and that person faces the wrath of man. That's what we're looking for. Justice, ladies and gentlemen. And justice takes time. Big shout out to Krista Van Torenberg with a $5 super chat says, why would he not already be arrested for harboring a minor or something similar? That is the bottom charge. The top charge is going to be murder. It's bad. But it doesn't matter now because she's gone. And you can't build a case now that she's gone because you have no proof that they were maybe harboring a minor. You can charge her. That's maybe a misdemeanor, a low-level felon. You can't prove that he was involved in an intimate relationship with her because she's gone now. Who's going to testify to that? She's gone. Unless you find a video, X-tape or something like that. Or unless he had a threesome with somebody else and they come forward and say, well, yeah, she was a part of it and I can testify to that. That is gone. Or if she was pregnant and you do DNA and you find that the baby is his, you can do that then. But just a regular statutory case is out the window. That's gone. Because she's no longer with us. She cannot testify to it. What they do have is what's shaping up to be a murder case. And that is the precedent. That is what the most important thing that they're investigating. And these investigations take time. They take time, ladies and gentlemen. Let's keep going.
We are on lockdown. There is some radio silence here that personally I find unusual, just based on the way things have operated, as long as we've been around for 20 years. So I can't tell you that.
Harvey.
Well, Marl, I will tell you this. There's just something odd about this case. And, when you think about it, how does a body end up on Doheny Drive, which is a busy residential street, just parked there, knowing that it's going to get picked up because it's abandoned, with a body in the trunk, cut up, and it's close to his house? How do you connect those?
He's still saying that the body's been dismembered, but LAPD saying they never said that. I don't know what to believe. We just gonna have to figure this one out when the time comes. But guys,
Dots. I mean,
Or how do you not connect the dots?
well, you could say that,
Yeah.
but then again, if you really think it through, that's an odd place to leave a body.
Yeah.
And you know, and one of the things that I found in my career is that
so Gravity True Crime Bubblegum says you are so wrong about the essay case. You don't need a person to testify. All right, Gravity, because you're the expert. Tell me, how do you prove that somebody had intercourse with somebody if you have no video, no written statements, no witnesses, and your victim is dead? Tell me how you prove that case. Come on, Bubblegum. We're waiting for you in the chat. Tell me how you prove that case. Just because somebody is sitting next to somebody does not mean that they had intercourse with them. Because I don't know, I kind of have done, what, 600 and counting cases? That's just in PD. When you go to corrections, when I was a sex crimes investigator corrections, I did maybe 2,000-3,000 cases. Now that I'm a detective in a police department, I'm no longer working for corrections. I'm an active duty sex crimes detective. I've worked around 600 cases already. Many of them have been minors. So I don't know. Maybe I just have not seen the cases that Bubblegum have seen. But I don't know. We're waiting for you to tell us in the chat how you could build a case if you have no evidence whatsoever. No evidence. Oh, so now you speculate. Well, she was probably pregnant. Now you speculate. You're talking out your booty hole, Bubblegum. You speculate. You're talking out of your booty hole, all right? But I love you. We still love you. We just having fun with you. But remember, on this channel, we try and deal with facts, okay? And so far, it's not that I'll see. It's not a bet or a game of who's right or wrong. If we get evidence that he was involved in a relationship, which we believe he was, I'm calling him a pedophile, then we're gonna, that's gonna be prosecuted. There's no right or wrong. It's, oh, you'll see, you'll see. It's not like that. This is not a game. This is somebody's life. All I'm talking about is the evidence I've seen so far. If that changes, then yes, he needs to pay for everything that he did. And if they can have evidence that he abused her while she was alive, they certainly need to charge that. But of course, the top charge is going to be murder.
Huh?
But so far, we haven't seen the evidence that would hold up in court. But we have more than enough evidence in the court of public opinion, absolutely. But we have not seen concrete evidence so far that we've seen that shows that he did the do that would hold up in a court. That's all I'm saying, all right? I'm not saying it's not possible. I'm not saying it's not going to happen. I'm just saying so far we haven't seen that evidence. But what we have seen is a lot of evidence so far that shows that he might have had something to do with murdering her. And we'll see what happens. We need to get that evidence. We need to build a strong case, not off of emotions and feelings. A strong case based on facts. Let's keep going.
sometimes what seems obvious just isn't the case.
It's not always Occam's razor.
Yeah, and there are just some things about this
Okay,
that
I'm
are
back.
just bizarre. You know, when
Very.
did she die? And how long was this body carted around, and where was it? And how did it end up cut up in the trunk?
You know, listen, Aki made a good point. If you're new here, we crack jokes on, you know, this is my personality. It's not personal. I don't have a problem with the bubblegum lady. You know, she's taking the time to watch my show. You know, there's nothing but respect there. She could just say, yo, screw this guy and leave. You know, so this is what makes the show interactive and fun. You know, I'm watching the chat. How many creators don't even watch the chat? They don't care what you're saying. We care what you say on this channel. And we are going to debate you. And it is what it is, you know. So it's nothing but love.
Oh, what's up?
For making her point. Not at all. But if you say something in the chat, there's a possibility I as a host might read it and address it and debate you on it. It's nothing but love. It's nothing but love. Okay, let's keep going.
Listen, maybe some of it, maybe it will be obvious, but I don't think it automatically is. So I don't think this is a case where you jump to conclusions.
All right, well, we're doing our best not to. That's why we have you, Harvey.
Well, I'm not saying you.
No.
I'm not saying you.
No,
but
no,
if you look at social media, I mean, case closed.
All right, boom. So let's go over to the next one now. Is this the one? We'll go to the next one. The Ashley Banfield one is going to come up. I want to see what this one is.
Hey everyone, I'm Ashley Banfield,
It's right here.
and this is Drop Dead Serious. Another day, another flurry of developments in the case of an up-and-coming R&B singer named David, spelled D4VD, and the underage teen runaway who was found dead in the trunk of his Tesla.
Right.
That is a headline that this singer cannot escape, and nothing good is going to come of it. But David has escaped the limelight. He has been off the grid and out of sight.
All right, so we skip ahead to the 7:10 mark. Big shout out to Ashley Banfield. I watch her on News Nation. I didn't know she had her own channel on YouTube. I had no idea she had her own channel. So I'm definitely going to subscribe now. Welcome to the family, Ashley. You guys can't see it, but I just subscribed down there. Whatever. Let me move this. Whatever. You can't see because I'm in the way. But I just subscribed. So I would suggest you do the same thing too. I love Ashley Banfield. I had no idea she had her own YouTube channel. But now, guess what, Ashley? We're going to be rocking this out together. So now let's go to 7:10 and let's do it.
I just can't believe this report that the body has been returned to the family. Would they list the cause and manner of death the minute they find it? Or the fact that
who's
it's
this
not
bacon
listed
person?
and the remains have been returned, does that mean we're not going to get it?
No, I don't know that it necessarily means that we're not going to get the cause of death. I think that it might be coming. However, it might be vague. We might hear things like homicidal trauma and non-specific homicidal trauma, perhaps. But here's something I want you to understand. If you look at the flyer that they put out, when she was missing, you notice her weight? It was 120.
Yeah.
Now,
Are you a troll?
Like 70 pounds or something crazy?
right, when they recovered her remains, Ash, 71 pounds, that's 49 pounds she's missing. So what can we determine from that? Well, we've heard reports of dismemberment, and there was one report from the police that said the body was not intact.
I got a feeling you're
Missing
trolling, bro.
something, or she's in such an
So,
advanced state of
gonna do this.
decomposition. And look, I don't want to go too far over the
See you
top
in
here.
24.
Bodies do have a tendency to break down and even liquefy to a certain degree. And in this heat, and I even remember in August, I've got friends in LA, and they were talking about it was a record-breaking heat wave that they were in during this specific period of time. And heat, as we know, speeds everything up, particularly decomposition.
Right.
Well, we all know how hot a car can...
That's the great point that that other commentator inside of our chat said. I forgot her.
Roll no one about my chat. You can watch and have an opinion. You troll, you gone. And that's the way it is.
Hey, but yeah, the heat speeds it up. Absolutely.
Get.
Yes.
This is a black Tesla. It is the trunk. It is outside, likely in late August, early September in LA. Can you give me an idea of how fast a body can be in advanced or liquefied decomposition in that kind of an environment?
Yeah, relatively quickly, and if she's been packaged like in plastic in any way, that's also going to cause...
Packaged in plastic. Damn, that's cold, man. That's cold-blooded. All right, let's keep going.
the body to sweat as well, contained within that within a plastic packaging. I'd heard some indication that that may have occurred, and again, it's literally like being in an oven. The body begins to reduce. It's like any other organic substance that you place into this environment. It's going to react and interact with the environment, and the heat and the temperature are going to dictate the rate. The problem is, Ash, is you're trying to measure this out without specific dates. I began to think about what the status of the remains would be throughout this process. If she was compromised physically after death, if someone had attempted to do something with her body, where's the rest of it? How much was lost during this procedure? And then you couple that with the fact that she's going to be subjected to heat, that's going to even give rise to quicker decomposition. People don't realize that.
Let me be, I'm going to go rapid fire because I have a lot of questions for you and only 2 minutes.
Somebody said they wonder what the motive is. I think I'm going to surmise what I think my theory of the motive is. I think this guy is into some sick, degenerate stuff. People use the word degenerate very liberally, but degeneracy has its own specific meaning. And it has something to do with sex. And I honestly believe that he was engaging in some extreme forms of BDSM, and it resulted in her losing her life. Either that, or she wanted to go home, and she was his property. And the fact that she wanted to go home or break up with him, he took her life. It's one of the two. Because he's into some really sick stuff.
Did you know that the most dangerous prayer you can ever pray is only 3 words? If you skip this healing prayer, God will skip you.
Some really sick stuff. From what we hear on the internet. Allegedly. He's into some sick stuff. And when you start going down that deep, dark rabbit hole of, the extreme forms of pain and pleasure, it's easy to push the limits and take somebody's breath away and take their life away. It's easy. And when you are obsessed with a teeny bopper, when you're a grown man obsessed with a teeny bopper like allegedly D4VD was, yeah, it's also very easy to take somebody's life when they don't want to be there anymore. And guess what? That's how kids are. Your money, your fame will only enamor her but so long until her hormones just make her say, you know what, I don't want to be with him no more. I want to do something different. Because that's how kids are. Adults aren't necessarily like that. Some adults are. Right? I think we got an over 50% divorce rate. Sometimes people just wake up and say, I want to do something different. But children, that's just part of their nature. So it's either he went too far with the BDSM or she wanted to leave and he took her life. That's my 2 working theories right now. Let's keep going.
But is it possible she could decompose to a point where even early investigators would think she's dismembered, but she wasn't? She's there. She's just liquefied in so many places they couldn't tell.
Hey.
No, they do not throw around the term dismemberment without specific evidence of that. You're going to have tool marks here.
Okay. With the decomposition, can you back time of death? Would the ME be able to determine time of death?
They're only going to give you very broad strokes relative to time. Those parameters are very difficult to set, particularly this far down range, down the timeline. I'm sorry?
How broad?
I'd say probably they are not going to be able to narrow it down any more than about 3 weeks, probably.
Oh, God.
Sorry about that.
Gosh, that's not going to help. Okay, how about toxicology? In the advanced state of decomposition, will they be able to tell if she OD'd or if...
So somebody said in the chat, Strategic, I trust your knowledge. I'm not a person from the detective world, but why wouldn't think D4VD or D4... I know what she's saying. Was set up. Why? She's asking, why am I not considering the possibility of set up? Well, I gotta look at the totality of the facts. Number one, I don't know that he has mob ties. He's an R&B singer who oftentimes looks very effeminate in his demeanor and stature. What gangster stuff is this guy engaging in that somebody would want to do that to him? What I do know is that he is involved in some form of relationship with an underage child. So that's one felony right there that's being done. All by himself. He's already committing a serious felony by being involved with an underage kid. Well, the rest is just a domino effect. For me, it's if you're willing to engage in a relationship, what appears to be in a relationship with an underage kid, well, you know what? And now she's gone in your car, in your trunk, outside of the house that your manager was renting for you to live in. The manager wasn't living there, he was living there. Well, guess what? A lot of those dominoes are aligning in order. So unless we have some proof that somebody was extorting him, that the Mexican mafia was after him and all this extra stuff, I'm inclined to believe he might have something to do with this young lady no longer being with us. Now, we have 798 people watching this live right now, only 375 likes. I would appreciate it. You guys will hit the like button so we can get into that algorithm. We can be seen by a wider audience. We do appreciate it. We need your help. We need your support. And if you're watching this, you
Okay,
haven't
I'm
hit the
back, y'all.
subscribe button yet, hit the subscribe button. We are less than 1,500 subscriptions away from 100,000.
And on the next live stream, I'll try to use my mic. It's still charging. And I pray and hope that y'all hear this loud and clear.
Subscribers. We'd love to get to that 100,000 mark by the end of the year. Let's keep going.
If she was, or she was OD'd. I mean, there's a homicide version of being overdosed, and then there's an accidental suicide overdose. Will they be able to tell if there's drugs involved?
Yeah, there's two things that we do, just so that everybody understands. At this point in time, you're not going to do a blood draw. It's going to be probably worthless. You're going to go to the organs. What we do is we take samples of the liver and of the brain, and those will be spun down in a centrifuge. Now, what you will be able to do is you can get a qualifying amount, but you're not going to be able to get a quantified amount. So if you're looking for an OD, basically all they'll be able to say is that yes, there were these drugs in her system, but you can't give a specific number relative to therapeutic range versus OD range.
Right.
Okay. The next question's a big one because a lot of people are asking, and some are throwing it out there without proof that Celeste might have been pregnant. But we've seen this before, right? Girlfriend gets pregnant, boyfriend doesn't want the baby, and things go sideways. Not saying it happened with David and Celeste. However, with advanced decomposition, if she were pregnant, could the investigators tell that?
Yeah, the key is going to be the uterus here, I think. I don't know how much information we could get relative to hormonal changes, which are things that we look for in pregnancy, right? In the postpartum state, though, what you're going to be looking for is the uterus. Does the uterus survive? Is it still there, or has it been done away with? If it's there, there might be some histological changes you could appreciate, but, I wouldn't hold my breath on that.
If the uterus is not intact, there's no way to tell just from the liquefied remains if the hormonal changes are there or if evidence of pregnancy is there?
I think that would be very, very difficult. Those tests are very, very sensitive, and this far down range, I don't know if that's going to be possible.
Lord have mercy.
Okay, if it is possible, if her uterus, because they did say they found a torso, so if her uterus was intact and they are able to determine if she's pregnant, if she were pregnant, would they be able to determine paternity, even in advanced decomposition?
Oh, excellent question. That's really difficult to determine. I would say probably not at this point, particularly if they can't recover a fetus. And, we've heard all kinds of wild rumors about this sort of thing. And I don't know that anything is going to be there. They haven't released that information yet. So I'm going to be sitting around just like you, waiting to hear more info from the medical examiner. I wouldn't hold my breath, though. I'd say that we've probably still got 4 to 6 weeks before we're going to hear anything. They're going to try to test every possible item that they recovered at autopsy, and not just that, but they're going to be exploring cause of death here. Her neck muscles, strap muscles, hyoid, and also anything relative to skeletal structure. Did she have a skull fracture in any way, or was there any kind of bullet trauma? From here.
Wow.
Yeah, I've got 10 seconds left, but I've got to ask you. It was in the impound lot for only a couple of days. It was abandoned street side for about 5. So let's just say around 8 days in the hot sun in Los Angeles. How advanced do you expect her decomposition to be, and how many answers do you think we will get?
Yeah, very advanced. You're going to have significant, what's referred to as skin slippage. I still have this idea. I don't know that her body was in that car the entire time. Was it in a structure somewhere else? And then people wanted to get separation from the body as the body began to turn. Put it in the car, move it down the street, get rid of the smell, get rid of the body, but yet be able to keep an eye on it.
Wow. It's possible.
It's why you
It's
are
high
so popular
possibility.
with your podcast, Body Bags. Joseph,
Big shout out to Ashley Banfield. Big fan of hers on News Nation. Had no idea she had her own YouTube channel. Ashley's been doing it for a long time, and we got mad love for her on True Crime with Strategic. Let's keep going, man. This train ain't stopping, baby. This train ain't stopping. Listen to this TikToker and her take on some of the things that's happening with this sick alter ego and the confession that he did in a song. Listen to this.
I have some new information about the David situation when it comes to Celeste Hernandez, and let me tell you, I've been deep down this rabbit hole, and what I just discovered is actually scaring me so bad, it's not even funny. Okay, so we know David's first show for his tour was on July 30th of 2025, and this is where fans were capturing that he had a whole funeral set up for this first show. Sure, you guys remember this video going all over everybody's For You pages right now because it was just really, really odd.
All this dude did. And you know, this like, I hate fan culture. Like, look at this douchebag. This kid, because all this dude sings about is like death, right? This kid comes to the concert with bloody shirt. With a fake bloody shirt. You know, just like his idol. You know, like I'm telling you, this fan culture stuff is demonic. It really is. Fan culture is demonic. Anyway, let's keep going. Kara Kids with a $79 super chat. I think from Australia or something like that. Says, thank you for all you do, darling. I truly enjoy your lives and videos. A big hello from Sydney, Australia. Yeah, I was right. See, that's Australian money. Thank you so much, man. That's so awesome of you. You're so kind, man. Wow. It's pretty awesome. Thank you. You know, we got a lot of people that show us love from Australia. Australia loves True Crime with Strategic. We got a ton of Australian people that watch us. And the funny thing is, it's probably like 2 in the afternoon where she's at right now. It's like 11:41 p.m. over here. It's like 2 p.m. where she at. We appreciate you, man. Thank you so much. Hey, so let's keep going. Oh, what happened to the sound? I don't know. See, look, and then there's like a whole obituary book and a casket. This is bananas.
He even has this obituary, but as you can see, Atami is the name, and in Japanese, this means pain. And Atami is actually his alter ego. And just stay with me because I'm about to play you a clip of him talking about this Atami alter ego and how he is an unaliver and all of this crazy stuff. As this date, February 2023 to August 2025. And this part really just made me feel unsettled because I started digging into the date because I found it really weird that people on Reddit, before they found out Celeste, were alleging that Celeste's friends lost communication with her in August. Here's that Reddit post that was going around, and they were talking about a girl named C that they were saying would go on trips to LA and that she was in 9th grade, and it turns out C's friends knew that David would allegedly pay them to keep their mouth shut about this relationship. Mind you, this Reddit post was before they identified Celeste as being the one in the trunk, but they knew somebody was in this trunk. So the day that they found out it was Celeste, somebody commented and said their timelines don't match up because she's been missing since 2024, and this person responded, yeah, she was missing for that long officially, but she still had friends who were in contact with her. Again, I'm not sure what her family life was like. It seemed very broken to me, which makes me believe she didn't want to go back home. What I meant was my sister and her friends lost all contact with her for over a month. Since early or mid-August, I'm not too sure. Then this part started making me more nervous.
She was living with the dude all that time. The family knew where she was at. Everybody knew who she was with. They just did not care. Let's keep going.
didn't.
Because the name,
In my opinion.
neighbors that were across the street of David's house that was just searched by police where the Tesla was found was turned in by neighbors for being abandoned. Sources from that neighborhood said the car had been sitting in that spot on Bluebird Avenue for at least 3 weeks. Based off timelines from reports, we know that this car would have been towed in the early part of September because it sat in the tow yard for a few days before they noticed the smell coming out of it. And then on September 8th is when they would open that trunk and find who we now know is Celeste in that trunk. So the neighbors were saying that the car was sitting in the same spot for 3 weeks, which would take you to August. Now we're going to talk about David's alter ego, Tommy, because what he says in this interview about his alter ego sent chills up and down my spine.
I had the idea to kind of make this first music video introduce a character that I had been kind of ideating for a really long time. That's why you see him with the blindfold and the bloody shirt aesthetic and the bow tie. I'm really big into anime and I'm really big into manga. And I wanted to make my own manga series at one point. And I was writing a lot of poems and writing a lot of things for it. And a big...
Okay, he's one of these emo kids. Let's keep going.
Part of that manga was an evil version of me named Tommy, which means pain in Japanese. And he wears his blindfold, and he's basically an agent of chaos and kind of my alter ego. And the story of the manga went like I was a detective, and there was an...
Nah, bro, you're not a detective. Don't do that. Don't disrespect the trade, okay? Unbelievable. Let's keep going.
Full version of myself that will kind of come out at random moments, kind of like Fight Club with Tyler Durden. And he would commit the crimes that I would have to solve as a detective. So like when I was as a detective, I'd be like solving murders that I'm committing myself. And it was like a cool little story. I didn't think anything would come of it. Like it was in the vault for like months and months and months. And I introduced it for the first time on screen because I had the opportunity with music to kind of explore this idea further with the Romantic Homicide music video. And people were asking so many questions. I was like, yo, this is kind of fire because like nobody would have ever heard of it if it wasn't for this music video. But Tommy was the staple of this music video. You kind of see him throughout the entire thing. He's holding a knife with a bloody thing. You got the girl who's basically like the ghost of the person that he was his first victim in the manga.
At this point...
Wait. The ghost is a person that he first what? What? Hold on here.
He's holding a knife with a bloody thing. You got the girl who's basically like the ghost of the person that he was his first victim in the manga.
Did he say they would not cut out killed? They cut out the R word. He said great. That's what he said, in my opinion.
That's what I thought he said too.
Either that or F-U-C-K. YouTube censor, sorry. One of the two. I think it was great.
I thought he said great too, but I wasn't sure.
Yeah, this is what your children was listening to. This what did you hear this? Oh Lord, let's go back.
But Tommy was a staple of this music video.
Oh, welcome, chosen one.
He's holding a knife with a bloody thing. You got the girl who's basically like the ghost of the person that he was his first victim in the manga.
At this point, it's like he's literally envisioning all of this, and I'm not saying that he for sure did it because he
either said great or unalive, whichever one. But neither one of them ain't good.
Still innocent until proven guilty, but that is absolutely crazy. It's like what he is talking about is now actually happening. There is no dang way. And now in this tour, he is talking about this alter ego now passed away August of 2025. Why he has this casket and everything set up on this very first show that he did. Same exact time frame that neighbors are saying that car was parked across the street from where he lived, and also Celeste's friends are saying that is the last time they talked to Celeste. Celeste was sometime in August.
What I gotta understand is the mind works in mysterious ways. These people do this stuff, and their conscience haunts them. They have to tell someone. They have to express this inhuman action that they committed. This is his subconscious trying to free itself from the pain and the guilt of his choices. Bananas. He, in my opinion, ended that girl.
Now at this point, I am honestly really disturbed. If it comes out that David is in fact guilty, at this point, it really could be premeditated. I feel like at this point, I have been way too far down this rabbit hole because it just keeps going and going, and I swear.
Yeah, it does.
Alright, big shout out to the Kylie girls. What is it? Kadish Shalin? Kadish Shalin. I don't even know what. Is that her? Or did somebody just post her thing? Yep, that's Kadisha Lynn. Thank you so much. Very happy that you put this forward. Let's keep going.
This fall, heel pain and sore arches won't stop you. Hand-stitched leather boots deliver.
Thank you so much. Very happy that you put this forward. Let's keep going. Let's keep going.
More heartbreak tonight, this time in Lake Elsinore, where a crowd gathered to remember the 15-year-old girl whose remains were recently found.
See how the community is reacting to this girl, because you know what? Remember, nobody cared when she left. When she was in Hollywood Hills with this man, 5 years her senior, nobody cared. Nobody cared when she was 11 years old, hanging out with this dude. Nobody cared. Nobody cared when she was 13 years old and he was 19, 20. Nobody cared. Nobody cared. Let's see how the community cares now.
One in the trunk of a car registered to the singer David.
She had been missing for more than a year. As Eyewitness News reporter Amy Powell shows us, the community remembered the teen with a candlelight vigil.
Tears flowing during an emotional candlelight vigil in Lake Elsinore. A large crowd gathering near a memorial on the street where Celeste Rivas once lived to mourn the 15-year-old's death.
I'm feeling heartbroken, devastated for hearing about the news. I didn't know Celeste personally, but it hits home.
Former classmates, friends Celeste grew up with, and parents, all shaken by her death. The teenager went missing after running away from home in April of last year. Her decomposing body was found more than a week ago in the trunk of a Tesla. The vehicle is registered to rising singer David. The 20-year-old has been on tour promoting his new album, but the remainder of the tour has now been canceled. The connection between the teenager and David is not clear, but he posted a song online titled Celeste. Investigators were seen removing items from the Hollywood Hills home David was believed to be staying in before heading out on tour. The house is a short distance from where the Tesla was impounded and taken to a tow yard. A Lake Elsinore neighbor recalled seeing Celeste walking home from school before she ran away. She created the memorial, giving everyone a place to grieve.
Even though I didn't know her, I just couldn't even breathe.
And so, a total stranger created this memorial. Whatever. I'm not going to nitpick. This happens all the time. Total strangers create these memorials all the time. It's not the family's fault, but I just really believe the family didn't care. People are saying in the chat they may have been paid off, whatever.
Yeah, I've seen that too. That he supposedly has a girl that looks like her.
That did not give it about this kid. They didn't give a D.
Especially the parents.
This little girl meets him when she's 11, runs off with him. Police brings her back. There's no police report filed that this older person is exploiting her. They're talking on Discord where she's like, yo, my family won't let me go to your concert. He's like, don't worry, I'll fix it. Like, what does that mean? What does that mean? I don't know what's going on, man, but we need to get to the bottom of it.
Knowing that a child had to go through that. My nephew went to school with her since kindergarten, and I just want to say, just as a whole, just if it was my daughter, I wouldn't want her to be forgotten. I just want justice for this little girl because whatever happened to her, it wasn't just an accident. I don't want her to be forgotten.
And while they're devastated by Celeste's death, people in this community say they want answers, and they want whoever's responsible for her death brought to justice.
Wow. Sorry. Let's go to the next one. That's the community's reaction. Let's talk about these canceled tours. We bring you guys up to speed. Remember, I've been gone for a whole week. I've been working my butt off. I was sick at first, and I was working this crazy detail I told you guys about. So I've been gone the whole week. So we're catching up with everything. Not everything, but some of the main key things we're catching up to, all right? We're going on this journey together.
Singer David, on the brink of major fame.
Can I get that smile back?
The platinum-selling artist with hits like Romantic Homicide. And Here With Me.
You see that? All those knives falling out that bag? What a weirdo.
Embarking on a world tour for his debut album, Withered.
David is a young 20-year-old singer who really is just on the cusp of superstardom. You know, he really got his start because his music went very viral on TikTok. And he also was very popular in the video game spectrum from Fortnite.
Now he's at the center of a weeks-long mystery after a severely decomposed body was found in an abandoned Tesla registered to the singer's legal name, David Anthony Burke.
When the body was found, the LAPD didn't know much about it because it was so heavily decomposed, but it was a female who had been around 5'2", they thought, and from what they could tell, around 71 pounds, or that is what was left of the remains. So, I mean, it got really gruesome in that moment because the body
She was slim, but she wasn't as slim. She was, she was a healthy weight in all the videos that we saw her in. You know, unless this guy started starving her and torturing her or something like that, which, anything's possible, allegedly, right?
had clearly been in that trunk for so long.
The body, that of a young teen named Celeste Rivas, seen in this photo from authorities, who authorities say went missing last year from Lake Elsinore, California.
She was 13 years old when she went missing. She would have been 15 had she been living now, but she'd been missing since last year.
If your arms look like this and your belly looks like this, you are not fat. You just have too much cortisol. That's because high cortisol levels can make your belly feel puffy and tight.
Then she would have been 15 had she been living now, but she'd been missing since last year.
Celeste Rivas' mom talked to TMZ, and she said that her daughter was dating somebody named David. She didn't know who he was, but all of this is going to come into play as the LAPD is trying to understand if there was a relationship between David and Celeste Rivas.
The questions continue to mount. The medical examiner is still trying to determine how the teen died. David has not been arrested or charged with any crime. He has not issued a public statement since the body was found. ABC News has reached out to David's team for comment and has not heard back.
They're not calling this a murder investigation right now. They don't know necessarily that it was murder. It could have been something else, like an accident or an overdose, and that the body was disposed of improperly. They don't know.
When the news first broke on September 9th, David was nearly 2,000 miles away in Minneapolis on tour.
David went on stage and performed that night and didn't acknowledge anything that happened, and I think that appeared to be a little bit offsetting.
Listen, what does Brutal say? Brutal said, we can't judge no one. Yes, we can. That's what we do every day in society.
Hell, and that's what we are.
What is for? Judging people.
We look and we judge.
I think she meant proof, but, we all mess up, right? I certainly do.
I don't believe it.
So I'll protect myself from a curse and won't blame parents. I don't know what your culture is. I definitely respect other cultures, but I don't believe in that stuff. I'm a Christian. I don't believe in curses. So that's not going to be a part of the way that I view this case. We don't know what the parents knew. What we do know is that the mother just told this lady that her daughter told...
I got something from Ashley Banfield that I want to play after this guy's done.
TMZ that her daughter was dating somebody named David. Her daughter is...
Ooh. Okay, I'll let this guy go couple few more minutes, and then we're gonna play something from Ashley Banfield.
13 years old when she went missing and the mother didn't know who David was? That's bad parenting. So yes, I'm gonna judge you. Because your 13-year-old should not be dating somebody and you don't know who she's dating. She shouldn't be dating at all. So yeah, we gotta judge people because judging people is what saves lives. Alright? You
Exactly.
don't see some 50-year-old dude tugging down a 5-year-old and say, well, I'm not gonna judge him because I don't know what the situation is, so I'm not gonna judge. Yeah, you're gonna judge. You're gonna say that's not right. Let me call the cops, okay? A person dating a 13-year-old and your parents not know who she's dating, that's bad parenting. Furthermore, they're saying that she went missing before and that the police took her from David before and returned her to the parents. So how would the parents not know who David is if she was returned from David previously to the second time she went missing for the last time? It's bad parenting. Your daughter should not be on Discord meeting men inside of a Discord chat at 11 years old. That's bad parenting. It's bad parenting. So it's people who don't want to judge that allow all this evil to happen in this world because you're not being proactive. You put blinders
Exactly.
onto the evil that's happening right in front of you. You should be proactive. You should be engaged. You should be involved.
Fact.
You should call 911.
Always.
Not be afraid of curses. But I digress. Believe whatever you want to believe. Let's keep going.
For people.
Late last week, Los Angeles police searching a home in Hollywood Hills that the singer was staying at, removing several items, including a computer. Neighbors saying the Tesla had been parked in front of the home for a while before moving to two different places on the street. It's a little weird to see a car that I haven't seen here for a long time. Had a big dent on it, had a Texas plate on it. So all a little odd, but at the same time, you know, people could be hanging out with friends for, you know, for a long time.
It was banged up. And kept moving from one place to other place within a couple of blocks from.
The body discovered after the Tesla was impounded and taken to this tow yard for 2 days before workers noticing an odor coming from the front trunk.
There was one real identifying feature that was on the human remains that was left behind, and that was a tattoo on the right index finger on the inside that read, "Shh." David has that exact same tattoo on his right index finger, as do other celebrities. Rihanna apparently made this popular. This tattoo is not incriminating yet, and the LAPD doesn't even know if the tattoo will come into play in all of this.
The singer canceling the rest of his domestic tour after Celeste's identity was released.
The repercussions that David is facing right now is he's being tried in a court of public opinion. His label has paused all the promotion.
These past few months have been full of big milestones for David, from performing at Coachella to appearing on late-night shows like Colbert.
What do you have in store? One night away, we can't explore.
He reflected on his...
I want you to look at that. Look at the stage. This dude is dark. He's a very dark young man. Look, once again, we're detectives, right? What do you see in this picture? What is odd in this picture? You're a detective now. Stop thinking with your heart. Analyze. Your analytical brain. That's all we're using. What's wrong in this picture? Somebody give me something. What's wrong in this picture? I don't see nothing in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It's not a funeral. The flowers. The flowers, but it's not even just funeral looking flowers. All the flowers are drooping down. Every single one of those buds are facing down to the ground. That means dying and withered. He is a dark soul. He's a dark soul. Every single detail aligns with his dark soul. Who would think about that? We think of white flowers synonymous with funerals, right? You would just think of a white flowers, right? No, he wanted the white flowers with the buds facing down to the ground as though they're withered and dying. Every detail matters to him. And only a dark soul would think the way this man thinks to put this picture in every single visual he wants to give his audience. It's always death and darkness. It's a dark soul, man. understand music has power. And these evil people are putting these evil messages into the hearts and souls of our children. We really need to be very, very, very proactive about the type of music our children are listening to. How many of you out there were your children listening to this alleged murderer? How many of you people out there were your children listening to this alleged pedophile?
Mm.
And you didn't even know it.
Mm.
But if you took the time to just watch one or two of his music videos, you would get a peek into his soul. Why? Because creative people express their souls. He is an artist, regardless of whether he's a murderer or a pedophile, he's still an artist. He's a creative person, and his creativity is a reflection of his soul. And what do we see when we look into his eyes? When we look into his work, we see a very dark, demented soul. It's crazy, man. This stuff is powerful. Let's keep going.
What do you have in store? One life away we can't explore.
He reflected on his blossoming career to Lindsay Davis last year.
Success has kind of been quite literally overnight, so it's kind of hard to kind of be in the moment sometimes, but I'm just taking it in slowly, appreciating it.
David has had some pretty significant moments in the last year. He also had a mainstream branding deal with Hollister and Crocs, which is colossal.
The brand's telling Footwear News we have removed the campaign content featuring David while the investigation continues. Some of the artists who he's collaborated with, like Caliucci, also taking action, now being re-examined and dissected online.
If you, like me, had no idea who David or D4VD is before this body was found in the trunk of his car, let me catch you up.
Some of the lyrics in Romantic Homicide say things like, in the back of my mind, you died.
In the back of my mind, you died.
And he's really leaned into that darkness. You know, he even posted on his social media that he's selling custom bloody t-shirts by him that fans can purchase.
Other creative choices being re-examined too.
Yo, hit that like button, people. We're at one point we're almost at 1,000 people in the live, and we appreciate all the support that we're getting. The show is really taking off, and the audience that we're building is very loyal and very accommodating of my personality, and I appreciate that because I am a tough pill to swallow for some people. People are usually used to content creators that aren't engaged with the chat, and so you kind of never really get to know them.
Okay, I gave this guy 90 minutes. I'm just going to go to this thing with Ashley Benfield, and after that, I'm done.
Home Emporium is an exceptional shopping experience offering unique home furnishings and distinct.
Hey everybody, I'm Ashley Banfield and this is Drop Dead Serious. If you have been following our coverage of the rising R&B
And this here was
superstar
2 hours
runaway
ago.
teenager who turned up dead in his trunk, then you probably know that new details continue to surface every day, and today is one of those days, a big one. Also, some of the things that we thought we knew at first, they turned out to be wrong. We find out new things every day and we get corrected every day too. But today, what a bombshell. If you're just jumping into this case, or if you want the full backstory or just reminders or maybe a timeline, I've got all of it. I put together a playlist with all of our coverage of the singer David and the disappearance and death of Celeste Rivas Hernandez. It's right there in the episode description, but let's get right to it because we now have the first confirmation that Celeste Rivas Hernandez, the underage girl found decomposing in the trunk of the singer's impounded Tesla, was in fact dating that much older singer. By many accounts, it seems David and Celeste had actually been dating for quite some time. TMZ is reporting that people who knew David and Celeste socially took it as a given that they were a couple, a romantic couple.
Cut this
David's
fan
friends
on.
said they actually thought that Celeste was 19. And as we've reported before, she and David apparently were acquainted as far back as when she was 12. And conceivably, she could have met David when she was like as young as 11. I know, it makes my skin crawl. But before I get into all of this, the bombshell new information, I wanted to just say that I'm really thankful. And so is my little guy Atlas. I think you usually see him on my little Atlas cam. He sleeps through
Oh, hi, Guy. He sleeps through everything, but little secret here, he actually is in the studio at all times. If I'm doing my live TV show at 10 o'clock Eastern on Banfield, on News Nation, he's right at my feet. Sometimes he gets up and wanders around the studio during the live show. Sometimes he actually goes, chokes and barks and stuff, but most of the time viewers don't notice it. I don't know why. Or if they do, they might think it's just a noise in their own living rooms, but we both are very thankful that you're here and supporting this podcast. I couldn't do this without you. I'd literally be in the studio by myself talking to, an inanimate object, like talking to a mirror. But I'm super thankful that we're a community and we get to meet and talk through a lot of these like very disturbing things. Because when you're into true crime, face it, it's better to do it like a book club, right? And I'm also really, really thankful for my sponsors because I couldn't do it without them. And one of my sponsors is Chapter, and if you're a senior or you've got a senior in your family, this is actually pretty important information, so check this out. Sometimes things that are perfectly legal seem incredibly unfair and feel like they should be a crime. And there are few better examples than Medicare. Medicare is extremely confusing with thousands of different plan options, and so a lot of seniors and their families rely on brokers who can help them find the best plan for whatever their individual needs are, right? Unfortunately, most Medicare brokers push the plans that pay them the highest commissions, not what's actually best for the seniors that they're claiming to serve. And the really crazy part is that it's all totally legal. Brokers are not required to put the interests of their clients first or to present every available option to these clients. That's why you gotta find a broker who works for you and not for the insurance companies. It's why it's a great idea to reach out to my partner at Chapter. Chapter's help is totally free. They can review your options in under 20 minutes, and the average senior saves over $1,000 a year. If you are already on the best plan, Chapter's going to tell you that. If you are not, they will help you switch. And if the best plan for your needs is one that doesn't pay Chapter's still going to recommend it. There's no pressure, just honest advice and assistance from people who know Medicare inside and out. So what do you have to lose? Just go to askchapter.org/Banfield, or you can call the number 346-659-0369. Give them a call, check it out. Again, nothing to lose. You'll be glad that you did. Again, it's askchapter.org/Banfield, and share it with your friends. Okay, back to the case. First, I gotta take you back to the Hollywood Hills for moving day. Yeah, News Nation affiliate KTLA, man, did they get a scoop. They were there when suddenly the movers showed up and the contents of David's former palatial mansion, one he called home, that Halle Berry used to own, those contents were boxed up and hauled away by movers. You may have heard that the singer's manager signed a lease on that house for $20,000 a month. That was in February of last year, so Feb 2024. But he broke that lease just this week, and the homeowner actually told us that he'd agreed. The owner agreed to the terms of separation with David's manager. And as it turns out, it appears that this manager's young client, David, could certainly afford that house, or any house like it, because there's new reporting on that too. I'm going to fill you in on that in just a moment, and it is important because it's actually a lot of money. But I wanted to show you the moving trucks and the movers. You will notice that their faces are clearly visible. Why is that important? It's important because KTLA's reporter said that was not the case for a whole bunch of other people who showed up and were presumably part of this move, presumably Team David. Those people had black wraps around their faces, and at one point, one of them drove off in a red Tesla that had been parked in one of the garage bays. And yeah, that guy too had a black wrap tied around his face. I guess they did not want to be recognized. If they were on Team David, maybe they are really unhappy about being connected to this very disturbing case and very disturbing mystery that, mark my words, will be solved. But unlike the black Tesla, where Celeste's remains spent days, if not weeks, decomposing in the frunk, that's a forward trunk on a Tesla, the Tesla that hightailed it out of the garage bay did not belong to David. That red Tesla, apparently, according to KTLA, has an owner of record named Josh Marshall. And yes, that is the name of David's manager, Josh Marshall. So look, I don't know what was in the boxes that were being moved out of David's former house, but I know what was not in the boxes. And that would be some key evidence or potential evidence that the LA police already confiscated 8 days ago. And by the way, how did a kid who was born in Queens and raised in Texas come to live in a mansion like that? David's real home seemed to be the internet. So follow me here. This is how the money is made. As a kid, David made videos of himself playing the online game Fortnite. You've probably seen a lot of kids do it. But David did something else. David put his own music over the videos to get around those copyright issues with other music. And his clips ended up blowing up on TikTok. They also caught the eye of a record label called Interscope. And Interscope in 2022 signed David to a deal worth a minimum of $3 million. That is a lot of money for anybody, let alone a 17-year-old, because David was only 17 when he signed that deal. But get this, $3 million may be chump change, because TMZ says that the deal he signed was potentially worth twice that, $6 million, depending on the level of his sales. And as for sales, right now, in spite of everything that's going on, or maybe because of everything that's going on, David's music has never been hotter. According to Music News, one of his singles climbed to number 8 on Spotify this week, and is also climbing on YouTube and Apple Music. And that is what makes what I'm about to tell you so stunning. Because behind the streaming success and the chart numbers, the evidence tells a hell of a story, and it is a lot darker. Up until tonight, there'd been no definitive proof that David Anthony Burke, the singer named David, spelled D4VD, was actually in a romantic relationship with Celeste Rivas Hernandez, the underage victim found in his Tesla trunk. But now there is. Now there is definitive proof. TMZ spoke with multiple friends of David who were, quote, under the impression that he and Celeste were indeed a couple, a romantic couple at that. David's friends believed that Celeste was 19 years old and a college student. Earlier today, I spoke with the TMZ senior producer named Charlie Neff, and Charlie is behind all of this breakthrough reporting. She is the one who reached out and connected with David's friends and had a very, very insightful conversation. Here's my chat with Charlie. How did they know him, and how well did they know him?
Yeah, so the folks that I spoke to are in the LA music scene, so they know David very, very well. They didn't know Celeste as well as they knew David, but they did notice that he was bringing her along when they would go to parties in the music scene. Maybe they would have hangouts after a recording session, and they knew David to be a very gentle person, is what they told me. They also described him as very soft-spoken. Friends around him are extremely shocked that he's even remotely connected to this grisly murder of a 14-year-old girl. Obviously, he has not been named a person of interest, and from what we've seen, there's no legitimate connection connecting him to the death of this young girl. However, her remains were found in his car, and just that connection alone has really shocked a lot of people around him.
Did they get the impression that this was a romantic couple?
Yes, absolutely. So the people that I spoke to that were seeing them together out in the scene believed they were romantically involved. Now look, they did not say anything about PDA, said that David was a very shy, quiet person, and Celeste seemed to mirror that as well. So they weren't out there making out at parties and things like that, but they did believe, because they would see them together so frequently, that these two were in a relationship.
Where did they get the idea that she was somehow a 19-year-old going to USC as
I know. Isn't that just so crazy? Because, you know, we think, how does a 14-year-old child present as a 19-year-old woman? And I was told that these people were just so sure that she was a college student. They were specific. They said that she attended USC from what they believed. And also, she was seen at events where there's age restrictions, clubs and parties and stuff like this, where she had to be at least of 18 years old to get in. And we do know from law enforcement sources that she did have several fake IDs as well. So she was able to get into places where there was age restrictions. But,
Charlie, it's so sad to hear that you and I are talking about a 14-year-old girl, but I keep going back to the fact that it's possible he connected with her as early as 12, and on the far end, maybe even 11.
Damn.
Did these friends have a long relationship with David? Like, for
Damn,
instance,
I did not mean to do that.
Celeste when
Shit.
she was maybe 13, or God forbid, even 12.
Yeah, so the people that I spoke with just recently got to know him. He has been popular for quite some time. We know that he had been signed to a record label when he was underage. However, he has kind of blown up in the music scene the past couple years. So it would have been the past couple years that they did know her. But yeah, she would have been, about 12 years old during the time that she was coming around.
Hello.
And, we don't know a whole lot about who her friends were, if she did have friends. We just know that she was coming around more in his circle. We know she wasn't really home very often because she wasn't attending school.
Well, God, if you think about it,
She wanted to attend school. Why was there not a truancy officer showing up at the parents' house?
if she would have been in elementary school, and if she disappeared at 13, she would have been just into middle school. And just the whole idea that we're talking about it is so uncomfortable. But I am so curious about her story and how she presents. And as you mentioned, these friends of David said she presented very much like a 19-year-old. Did they see her driving? Did they see her driving, say, his car? Because if she's telling everyone she's a USC student, she's got to be going out of the house or leaving his presence on a regular basis.
Yeah, these people did not see her driving or ever see her driving his car or anything of the such of the matter. But, she was always with him. So, everything he did in his life, she kind of seemed to follow.
Do we know, Charlie, if these friends had any inkling that Celeste had actually moved into that mansion, that she was full on a resident of that home in the Hollywood Hills with David?
So the people that we spoke with a lot of neighbors in the area, and they don't recall seeing Celeste, or at least don't remember seeing her face. I know there are reports out there saying that she had been living with David and was at least staying there in the past couple weeks, leading up to when she was discovered.
Did these friends of David ever mention that Celeste talked about her family or her home life, or let on anything about her personal life?
Yeah, so the people that I spoke with didn't know much about her. It doesn't seem like this really came up, at least in like a social gathering or a social scene. No one really questioned much about her background. Like I mentioned, they just knew her as this college student that went to USC. It doesn't look like they really unpacked that. You kind of just take somebody at their word when they say things like that.
Did you get the impression that they thought David might actually be involved in this extraordinarily mysterious and tragic death?
So when I spoke to people around him, they were shocked that he was even remotely in, just the same sentence of this grisly, gruesome murder. Just the fact that it was his car that her remains were found in, they were shocked because, they said he appeared to be a very gentle guy, very shy guy, quiet. I also was told that his family is very conservative. They were very much involved in his life. Remember, he's just a 20-year-old, and his family was very much a part of his career from the beginning. And so for him to even be connected in any kind of way, again, he is not a person of interest, but for it just to be his car, they thought was just extremely disturbing and confusing. And just how could anybody do this, especially somebody that they would see at social scenes and things like that? They just can't believe it. It's extremely shocking for them.
Do you know if these friends that you talked to have also been interviewed by the police?
So I did speak with somebody who said that they have not personally been interviewed by police, but they believe that it's absolutely possible that other people in that group could have been interviewed by police. I'm sure police are trying to make sure that there's no stone unturned, and they are combing through everything to try to piece together this just horrific case.
If I were a betting man, Charlie, I'd say he would be going to his support system, which, as you just mentioned, he's got a supportive family. I think they're in Houston. Does anybody know if that's a possibility? Any sightings? Any hint? Anything about Houston?
There hasn't been any sightings, and like you mentioned, he is from Texas originally, and we do know that he has a couple homes out there as well, which it does not appear that there have been any search warrants for either one of those homes. There haven't been any sightings, so it appears he's in hiding. I'd imagine, like I mentioned, he is not a person of interest. Maybe, if he has no connection to this grisly murder whatsoever, he obviously knew who this young girl was. I imagine that would be extremely hard and painful to hear what unfolded to somebody you know. But, and it's unclear if he's spoken to police, but hopefully they get to the bottom of it soon.
Boy, I sure hope police know where he is. If you and I don't, I sure hope they have a handle on where he is, because my feeling is now that he's lawyered up, they still have some questions for him. Charlie Knapp, amazing work. Great journalism and a really good interview. Thanks so much. I appreciate this.
Thank you so much, Ashley, and I hope you have a wonderful evening.
So that is definitive proof from David's friends that he and Celeste were romantically involved. And given the age difference between David and Celeste, he's 20 and she likely died at 14 after being reported missing by her family, that is illegal, pure and simple. So watch this space as to what happens with that information alone. But it isn't like we hadn't suspected that they were in some kind of a sexual relationship. You may have seen some of the clips of a Twitch stream that David abruptly deleted. Viewers saying someone who looks an awful lot like Celeste is on that stream. And her voice is clear as day. There are actually 2 different clips that are floating around. Originally streamed in January of 2024.
Boy, straight
Now, while the
PDF.
stream was ongoing, the chat seemed to turn against David. People commenting that David seemed to be doing something not unlike Jeffrey Epstein. And some in the chat started saying that David was the Epstein list. Within seconds, David erupted and then begged his moderators, known as mods, to kill the feed and delete it. But before it vanished, that somebody who looks a lot like Celeste spoke up. And what she said was very, very telling. Take a listen.
Pray for his career, chat. Are we done? Are we
We need to delete this.
mods? Can we delete all mods? And as soon as the stream ends, delete the stream too. Everything. You done for it, bro? Y'all are not done? Now you gonna have to. Yo! Wait!
Oh, look at answer that one. That's so mean if you don't answer
Which
that.
one? What's good, David? Oh, thank you, Mitch. Mitochondria?
I gotta sound with him if you even.
I media trained you. That's controversial.
It's controversial of kids.
Really good
Okay,
one.
bye.
It's been a good one. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Mwah. Oh my. Delete everything. Delete everything. Everything goes.
Did you catch that? Did you catch at the very beginning where David sounded like he was saying, I media trained you? I was taken aback. Listen again.
I media trained you. That's controversial.
It's controversial of.
Y'all heard that, right?
Yeah. He definitely said I media trained you, which could mean anything when you're in the entertainment business, but in retrospect, knowing what we know now, that this is a kid, right? If that's Celeste, this is a child, and they're talking about underage sex, and he's scolding her about, hey, you've been media trained. Well, with rear view vision, it certainly does take on a whole new meaning. Everything. If you
I
want
don't
to
know
stay
why
on
it
top of everything
disconnected, but I'm
development in this
back.
case, the interviews, the courtroom twists, and the inside reporting, make sure you're following this podcast, Drop Dead Serious, wherever you get your...
I don't even know how I disconnected. But anyways, for y'all that was here, I'm glad that y'all were here. Trolls, y'all will be blocked. Like, share, subscribe. I'll see y'all later. Peace.